Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, from Eric Lima's Shenanigans of 1977, it's time to head back in our mental DeLoreans where we talk about things of pop culture back in the 80s and 90s with nostalgic shenanigans. And our host of this great segment is the youngster in the picture from the first grade in the 80s, Mr. Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima's Shenanigans, 1977, episode 2237 of the show. It is May the 11th, 2025, 4:48 p.m. What's going on, everybody? I want to wish my stepmom and my late great biological mom, as well as all the moms that I've known throughout the years of my life, including moms of my friends, my aunts, cousins who are moms, sisters who are moms, my grandmothers, and all others, all the moms I know. Happy Mother's Day, blessed Mother's Day to you all. Hope you ladies have been treated very well, and I'm here to give you a Mother's Day shout out. And hope you had a great Mother's Day. If you're a Red Sox fan, you must have a great Mother's Day because the Red Sox won. They beat the Royals 3-1. Thanks to homers by Willie Abreu and Rafael Devers. And so like I said, Mother's Day. Hope it's great for you. Also, we have some sad news that happened in the world of wrestling, of course. A gentleman, a wrestling legend that myself, along with Brandon Martin, Jordan Little, a.k.a. Jordy Scow, House of Rebellion, who came in, was a big fan of this ECW legend, and all others. Sabu has passed away at the age of 60. The homicidal, genocidal, suicidal maniac had passed away at the age of 60. And well respected, well loved by those who were part of ECW for a very long time. Like I said, it was great. I had the ultimate honor of getting a chance to talk to him as a member of the Rant and Rave podcast. I'm was very thankful to get to talk to him. We've shown him a lot of respect, and man's been a legend, the craziest man ever in the in ECW history. He was part of that ECW invasion back in 1997, jumping off the Raw sign and all that, and then he was part of that revival in ECW revival in 2006 that didn't do as well as many have hoped it would, but be that as it may, Sabu, you will be missed. Real name is Terry Brunk. Sabu, you will be missed, and I know you are reunited with your super genie, Melissa Coates, up in heaven, so rest in peace, Sabu. Condolences and prayers. And last but not least, I want to apologize for my why video. As you know, I'll explain what happened on the video. Just you can go look it up as usual, and so that's why I'm trying to keep this show nice and clean and everything else, and to be an entertainment, but also be informative. So that's what I'm going to do. And I can show off a little bit of my nostalgia, because today this is the fourth episode of Nostalgic Shenanigans. Now, many want to know what's nostalgic shenanigans. Well, stuff that I grew up, it's stuff in pop culture. As you know, I leave like real life news events or world events or politics. I let the news experts deal with that stuff. I want to take the entertaining kind of stuff, like pop culture, music, TV shows, TV movies, video games, toys, anything of pop culture. I know my buddy Jason DeCanio does some of that as far as toys are concerned, retro toys and all that. But I want to talk to you about one of the most underrated crime fighters in comics history. Now, crime fighting superheroes in comics history. Let's start. All right, let's start now. In the DC universe, you have Like basketball teams have big threes, okay? By the way, speaking of which, Celtics won yesterday, Game 3, thank God. If they don't get it together, they could get bounced out in the semifinals. So anyways, so talking about big threes. Now, DC, you have your big threes in superheroes. You had Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. All right? Meanwhile, Marvel, you got Captain America, Spider-Man, and Iron Man. You can count the X-Men too, but I'm talking about big three as far as individual characters are concerned. But you look, and you have your groups like the X-Men, the Justice League, and so on. But there's one crime-fighting superhero that is so underrated that he has not gotten a whole lot of love, so to speak. He has not been talked about as much as, like I say, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and the Flash, or even Green Arrow, or even Green Lantern. While, or on the Marvel side, Wolverine, all the X-Men, Gambit, Deadpool, Captain America, Iron Man, and Spider-Man. This one crime-fighting superhero has one thing in common with one of the superheroes. Now, with Batman, they don't have actual superpowers. They rely on their minds. And they create gadgets to fight crime. The reason why I say this man's an underrated crime fighter because he's the most unconventional crime fighter in comics history. Who am I talking about? The Green Hornet. That's right. Now, if you don't know the backstory of the Green Hornet Hornet's real name is Britt Reed. And his father ran the Daily Sentinel until he was in prison for a crime he did not commit, and he died in prison. Now, Britt Reed took it upon himself to run the Daily Sentinel and decided to be inspired by his father to go out and fight crime and clear his father's name. So he's been going around. So Green Hornet's been going around dressed up as the Green Hornet. His sidekick is Kato. They created the Black Beauty, the car, and has so many gadgets like the Hornet gun and the Hornet Sting. Now, why did I say he's very unconventional? He fights crime in the most unique way ever. He does it by masquerading as a criminal himself. Now, if you watch the 1966 TV series, starring Van Williams, who plays Britt Reed, a.k.a. the Green Hornet. I'm talking about the 1966 series, not the 2011 movie starring Seth Rogen. And as you know, Kato was played by a young, unknown at that time, Bruce Lee, who became a household name in martial arts movies in the 70s, before his untimely passing in the 70s. I always thought that was very unique of how he would do it. And people say he's a vigilante. But the crazy part is his identity is only known to two other people besides his chauffeur Kato. That would be the district attorney, F.P. Scanlon, or Frank Scanlon, or F.P. Scanlon, and Lenore Case, a.k.a. Casey, Britt Reed's secretary. Now, this is what I like about the Green Hornet. He does whatever it takes to, not only solve a crime and bring the criminals to justice sometimes, but also save innocent lives. Usually Mike Axford, who has something against the Green Hornet, so to speak, keeps getting himself in trouble as a police news hawk. I mean, think about it. But the Green Hornet had to bail him out his own conventional way. He acts like he wants a cut of the action that the criminals are taking part in, or whatever action they have. He wants money out of it, too. That means accompany the action. And so, but at the same time, he tries to save innocent lives. And here's another thing, too. As Britt Reed, he runs the Daily Sentinel now. He's the owner and publisher of the Daily Sentinel. And he utilizes that position of his to report the crimes, and basically, hopefully, try to throw the criminals off their game. To make them look, and incorporated the Green Hornet into this, making him look like a criminal. That way, it would throw the criminals off the scent of what the Green Hornet was actually trying to do, and that is basically save innocent lives and make sure to stop the crime before it gets worse. And the Green Hornet, like I said, he's the type of person who does whatever it takes to stop another crime from happening, even if he has to stoop to their level to get it done. Now, to the police, that's why he's a wanted criminal. But basically, he just saved a policeman's job. He just saved a lot of police forces. If you watch the 66 series of the Green Hornet, there was only 2 corrupt cops on that show at one point. And that had to do battle with the Green Hornet. So, to me, the reason why, to me, he's underrated, because he masquerades as a criminal just to get in on the action, to the point where he's secretly saving lives of those that are caught up in the crime from an innocent standpoint, be it a kidnapping or getting swindled or whatnot, or about to be murdered for something, and Green Hornet made sure that these innocent people don't get hurt and the crimes are not committed. I mean, the Green Hornet is a very unique crime fighter. That's why I consider him the most underrated crime fighter ever. And who would have thought that nobody would suspect the owner and publisher of a newspaper company to be a crime fighter and a criminal at the same time. A vigilante crime-fighting criminal. You know? Because he had a lot of resources at his fingertips, because he's got the district attorney backing him up, and you got the secretary backing him up, along with his chauffeur. And Mike Axford, the police news reporter, usually gets himself in trouble by trying to go undercover himself. And he gets himself into peril to the point where the Green Hornet had to bail him out. But what does the thanks that he gives to the Green Hornet? No thanks at all. He keeps ripping Green Hornet, saying he's a criminal, he's this, he's that. You would think that he'd be grateful. I would be. I said, yeah. I always say, well, the Green Hornet has some unconventional way to solving the crimes. That's for sure. I think the reason why they did not let him on this, because he'll probably because Mike Axford has a big mouth, and he'll probably end up spilling the beans about the Green Hornet's plans, and the criminals will get wind of it, and they'll probably come up with something to one up the Green Hornet. And that could be it. I don't know. So because lately, the reason why I'm talking about the Green Hornet, because lately I've been watching the episodes on YouTube. There's episodes of the Green Hornet from the 67 edition. As you know, he also made it. Now, the difference between Green Hornet and Batman, if he deals with the most eccentric and psychotic criminals ever, while the Green Hornet dealt with real criminals, not ones dressed up in crazy costumes, acting crazy, spouting riddles and all that, what you will. Like gangsters and racketeers, basically. That's what, I get out of it. So, bringing them to justice, or sometimes the head criminals took their fate in their own hands. And sometimes the Green Hornet, kind of feels bad sometimes, but he's supposedly, according to police records, a wanted criminal, but only his secretary, the DA, the district attorney, and his chauffeur only know his identity. Revealing his identity to Mike Axford, Axford's going to have a lot of questions. He would have a lot of questions to ask. So basically, it's like going to the underground, as going to the criminal underworld to basically stop the crimes from happening. Sometimes in order to succeed in life, sometimes you have to get your hands dirty, and that's what Green Hornet was all about. That's why, in my personal opinion, the Green Hornet is the most underrated crime-fighting superhero in comics history. And if people don't agree with me, they have their own opinions. But this is just my opinion, and my opinion only. And the Green Hornet also is one of the best dressed crime-fighting superheroes. You wear a suit with a fedora and a mask, and having a Hornet gun, a Hornet sting at the ready. You know what? You gotta look dapper. You can fight crime and look good doing it. Now, I believe Van Williams did an excellent job playing Britt Reed. God rest his soul. It was based off the radio drama of the Green Hornet back in the 1930s and 40s, I believe. So, I've been a fan of the 67 version of it, played by Van Williams, and Kato played by, like I said, an unknown martial artist named Bruce Lee, who became a household name in the 70s in martial arts films, like Enter the Dragon, and Fist of Fury, Chinese Connection. So you got that. Wendy Wagner as Lenore Case. I heard she died a long time ago. God rest her soul as well. She was a very, very beautiful young lady back in the 60s. Playing Lenore Case, a.k.a. Casey. Which, she gets herself, she reminds me a little bit of Susan Day from the Partridge Family a little bit. But I think Wendy Wagner's a lot cuter than Susan Day. So, but like I said, the difference between the Green Hornet and Batman, like Batman deals with the colorful criminals with the crazy crimes. Meanwhile, the Green Hornet deals with real criminals. Like deals with the real criminals, so to speak. The serious ones, the real serious criminals. So that's all I got. That's all I got out of it. Nostalgic Shenanigans. And yeah, so the episodes of the 1966 version TV series Green Hornet is on YouTube. So if you can find it, look it up, watch a video. You'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean. Why I said the Green Hornet is the most underrated criminal. Now, the Green Hornet is the most underrated. Excuse me. Why the Green Hornet is the most underrated superhero crime fighter in comics history. That's all I have. So, that's all for today's episode of the show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful, blessed day. Again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Hope you ladies had a wonderful Mother's Day. Hope you were treated right by your family. And as far as Sabu, rest in peace. I'm sure Brandon Martin and Jordan Little will probably address something about it tomorrow night as we live react to Monday Night Raw. So other than that, this concludes the 4th episode of Nostalgic Shenanigans, where I talk about the Green Hornet. So until that next episode comes rolling around, see you in the next episode. Tomorrow we got Martindale Monday. Tic Tac Toe continues on. Also, we got Bofus on the Sofas from Mr. Garrison 96 coming tomorrow as well. So, hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed rest of your day. Good night, and good night. Technically, it's not evening, but you know what I mean. So, these guys just behave yourselves, man. That's all. That's all we ask. That's all we ask. That's all I ask is behave yourselves, and you guys have a blessed rest of your day. And until next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and Do It for Bob Saget production, and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.